What's up, guys? We got UFC 327 this week. I'm breaking down every single fight, starting off the night with Charles Radtke versus Francisco Prado. So I got Charles Radtke in this one. Let's talk about Radtke first. Radtke has very good pressure. He thrives well in the pocket, and he got a very good left hook. Now, we've seen Charles Radtke lose to these higher level strikers like Carlos Prates. And I hate to say it, but Mike Mallet actually is a pretty good striker in his own right. But he's beat these lower ranked people. So I think Francisco Prado falls into the lower ranked category. Now, he had a really tight fight his last fight was a close one. But he had the most success trying to grapple. I don't think he's going to be able to grind and grapple Radtke. So I think it's a no-brainer to choose Radtke. Now, Prado does have a very big head, and that does kind of create a concern. Can he get knocked out? You know, he hasn't shown that he's chinny, but I think Radtke power can kind of, you know, suit this fight. He'll have success in this fight. I don't know if he's going to knock him out, but he definitely has success. One thing about Prado, he also loses position way too much for me. So, you know, he's a young guy, but I'm not sure if he's like super skilled to where he's going to be racking up UFC wins, but we'll see on Saturday. Next, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. So I got Kelvin to get the victory. Now, I like Vicente Luque a lot. What I don't like is him moving up to 185, which is, and that part is okay because, you know, you don't want to be cutting weight if you got some health issues. But he's just not the same fighter as he once was. He is very well-rounded. He did beat Thimba with a Darce, but is it realistic that he's going to take down Kelvin? No. I don't even know if Gastelum's going to make weight. And if he don't make weight, that's an even worse fight for Luque. But Kelvin is very powerful and top-heavy. He packs a lot of power in his punches. That's concerning for Luque. You know, he had an injury a few years back, a pretty serious one. So him, you know, this style of fight's not the best, and it just comes down to durability. Gastelum is way more durable than Luque with more power and upper weight class. So the equation says choose Kelvin Gastelum. Now, if this was Vicente Luque in his prime, that's a completely different fight, but unfortunately it's not. So we got Marquel Mederos versus Chris Padilla. So this is the very, very close fight. I got Chris Padilla to get the victory. Now, Marquel is actually pretty good, but he's very well-rounded. He got good pressure. He switched stances a lot. They actually fight similarly because Chris Padilla also switched stance a lot, very well-rounded. Padilla has better distance management. Not to say Marquel's is bad. I'm just saying who got the better distance management. They both do a lot of low kicks at range, and then they both pick their shots very well. I think the bigger difference is the level of competitions, how they looked against them. Marquel has gotten like put against the fence and taken down by some guys that I think he should be smoking, but he's won those fights, so that's okay. He coasted a lot in his fights, which I don't like to see. Now, Chris Padilla is very similar. However, he has shown the ability to push it past that threshold when it's a very close fight and set himself apart. And he's fought way better competition and looked good against the competition. So that's why I'm choosing Chris Padilla. But Marquel is actually the way they both fight, it could be a close fight. And Marquel could win, obviously, if it's a close fight. So next, we got Tatiana Suarez versus Lupita Godinez. So I got Suarez to get the victory. Look, I like Lupita a lot. She's one of my favorite fighters, actually, on the roster, especially women's fighter. But Tatiana has this wrestling ability that I don't think Lupita is going to be able to deal with. When I watch Lupita go against some lesser fighters, whether it was a long time ago or whether it's recent, she struggled defending takedowns. It's just like technically, fundamentally, her takedown defense is just not there. To beat a wrestler of Tatiana Suarez's pedigree, you're not going to see a lot of Tatiana Suarez in the wrestling department. She was successful against everybody she wrestled. Everybody she fought, she's been successful wrestling against. I don't think nothing's going to change here. Does that mean she's going to win every fight? No, it's some other bad matchups for Tatiana Suarez. However, I just don't like Lupita not defending takedowns in a technical sense, but she does scramble well. But against Tatiana, she's not gonna let you scramble. On the feet, Tatiana is at a disadvantage. She is gonna load a lot of kicks. I said the other day, I say this a lot too. A lot of wrestlers, they start off with kicks. They kick very well, then they get that distance to shoot into a takedown, then the boxing come later. Lupita is gonna have the advantage boxing, but I think it's going to be, they're going to utilize all martial arts and wrestling's going to be at the forefront. I think Tatiana wins. Next fight, we got Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovics. So I have Gamrot to get the victory. You know, Ribovics, he got good kickboxing. He's gritty. He throws combos together very well. This is a bad matchup for him, honestly. It is a world where Gamrot loses because he gets hit a lot, but the only other wrestler Ribovics went against, he didn't have nothing for him. He was just getting taken down left and right. Again, he didn't have the fundamental, he didn't use his underhooks. He didn't have the fundamental takedown defense. I didn't see any underhooks uses. Didn't see a lot of sprawls. I've seen a lot of overhook and maybe overhook over under, but you need 2 underhooks, or you need to really smash that underhook. You want overhook, ain't gonna do it. Overhook gonna get you double leg, and Gamrot got the ability to wrestle and grapple and scramble as well with anybody in the division. Now on the feet, Gamrot is wild at times. He is kick heavy. Like I said before, wrestlers they develop kicks first, then boxing is next. Some wrestlers are a little different. Like Usman is different because he has no knees. But a lot of other wrestlers got very good kicks. Gamrot is one of these guys who gauges this as well. He does it through his kicks. And I do think he'll be able to get Ribovics down. I think he has a way higher pace than Ribovics. I think he'll be successful on the ground. Don't know if he'll get a finish because of his style, but he will push the pace, and you know he'll get the victory pretty comfortably against Ribovics. If Ribovics improved since his last wrestler, better fight, but Ribovics hasn't fought a lot of good. It's not a lot of wrestlers like Gamrot on the roster, and he hasn't been fighting a lot of good grapplers lately. The only one he fought, he lost to in the UFC. So we got Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. So I refrained from making notes this fight. The only notes, I'm gonna read you my only notes I got. Which Holland will show up, I don't know. Randy Brown, I guess he's more consistent, but then he's chinny. He has a chin problem. They both tall, lanky, and they cancel each other out. Now, who do I got to win? I got Kevin Holland. Why? You know, I trust Kevin Holland's durability a little bit more than Randy Brown. I do think Randy Brown has the slicker stand-up of the two. But we don't see Randy Brown fight a lot of guys that has his stature. And Kevin Holland has fought a middleweight. He's fought the bigger guys. And, you know, this is a 50-50 coin flip fight. I will avoid this fight if you are thinking about placing bets. Avoid the fight. I'm not. I'm just making a pick, and I am picking Kevin Holland. He was doing good against Mike Mallet before his groin shot. That is worth to note, but hey, I got Kevin Holland. Now we got Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. So I'm gonna go Aaron Pico. Now, I'm gonna get down to, I'm gonna start with the final point I wanted to make. The final point is, Aaron Pico is a smoking gun with a glass chin. Now, Patricio Pitbull is hurt Dan Ige, but he has such a low output. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that against Pico and finish him. Now, Pico, on paper, Pico is 10 years younger. He has the better wrestling, but he doesn't have the better submission, pure jiu-jitsu, but it's MMA, so it's not really a pure jiu-jitsu thing. But he has a better wrestling. Patricio has a better grappling. Patricio has more experience, but they came from the same organization. So I'm thinking this is the style. You know, Lerone Murphy is way more explosive than Pitbull, especially at this stage of Pitbull's career. So I'm going to choose Pico just because I don't see the critical danger from one punch or one strike or one elbow, one knee, one anything coming from Pitbull, especially with his low output. That's concerning for me. I do think Aaron Pico can be good, but he's a smoking gun. He can get you offensively, but unfortunately, defense, he will go up to you with his hands down, and that's the problem with Aaron Pico. That's always been his problem. So we'll see if he can fix that this weekend. Now we got Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. So, you know, this is probably going to be my craziest pick. I'm going with a 40-year-old Cub Swanson. Now, Nate, he has more grit than he has talent. That's not saying he doesn't have talent, but he's a gritty fighter. Like, he really wants to get in the pocket and make it dirty. He relies on his toughness. He relies on being able to get through adversity. He relies on his chin. He relies on standing in the pocket and just punishing you. He's very heavy on his lead leg as well. Cub Swanson has a good calf kick, but more importantly, Cub Swanson, you know, he did get hit a little bit against Billy his last fight, and it's been a while. But Cub Swanson entered the pocket when he was ready and exited the pocket when he was ready. I think that alone, if he can get some, I think he will have success with that calf kick on Nate. And I see in the pocket, Cub Swanson's going to dictate how close and how far away he's going to be. Because Cub Swanson can fight going backwards, or he can fight going forward. And I think that's going to win him the fight. It is a concern because he is 42, I think. So let me just double check. I think he is 42. He's 42. So that is a concern. He's going to be 43 this year. So that's a very serious concern. But Nate got a lot of miles on him. He's been in a lot of wars. He's a very tough, gritty fighter. It's not that big of a difference in age, 5 years, but being 42 is different than being 37. So I have Cub Swanson to get the win. Should be chaos in that fight, though. So now we got Dominick Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Excellent matchmaking, UFC. So I got Johnny Walker. This is a very, very, very difficult fight to predict because I don't like. It's hard picking to see who's going to be more durable because, you know, durability is actually this is one of the most important things in MMA. Can Dominick Reyes take a punch? Can Johnny Walker take a punch? Now, both of their last opponents are vastly different. Zhang Yang, you know, he's not at the level of Carlos Ulberg. So I'm not going to be mad at Dominick Reyes for losing. But I will say about Dominick Reyes, he's a very hard puncher. He's not very patient though, and I think that can get him into some trouble. I think Johnny Walker got more tools in the toolbox, but just because you got more tools in the toolbox doesn't mean you're going to win. Dominick Reyes can catch Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker can catch him, and he can be explosive. If he comes in with a good game plan out though, I do think Johnny Walker can get the victory. But it is a very, very close fight. We'll see what happens. Now we got Curtis Blaydes versus Josh Hokit. Excellent matchmaking again. Not really, but I mean kind of is heavyweight. Okay. I got Josh Hokit. It pains me to say. I got Josh Hokit. I love going with vets in fights like this. But I'm gonna be honest. Curtis Blaydes is not that one-punch guy. He you know, he's a heavyweight, he does have the power, but it's not how he's winning this fight. He winning this fight at distance, picking and choosing when they engage in the grappling, grinding it out. Josh Hokit, he has way more upside. Now that doesn't mean he's gonna win this fight. The reason why I got him to win the fight is I just think his tempo is gonna be, his pace is more. Now it is a big weight discrepancy between the two. Let's look at their last weigh-in. It's about almost a 30-pound difference, 25-pound difference. And it's a height difference, and it's a reach difference. But Josh Hokit can score more than he can win. Now, the wrestling is going to be the real thing. Who's going to win the wrestling department? That's going to be the victor of the fight. I think Hokit has good offense wrestling. I think Curtis got good. He got okay. He got pretty good offense wrestling when the person allows him to. I trust Hokit wrestling a little bit more. He is a little bit more athletic. He is a little younger, a little less miles on him, but it's heavyweight. Anything can happen. So I have to go Josh Hokit. I don't have to, but I'm choosing Josh Hokit. I actually wanted to choose Blaydes. Rooting for Blaydes, but choosing Josh Hokit. We'll see what happens. Now we got Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. So this is a very tricky fight for me. I'm gonna go Azamat Murzakanov. You know, he looks like he shouldn't be good, but he's very, very, very good. We've seen that in his winning streak. He has very big power. He has a very, very good lead hand. He's a southpaw. So I don't know what stand. Paulo, he sometimes switches stances, but I think he is southpaw too. But I want to see what he does with his lead hand since it's going to be a southpaw and southpaw fight. He does have a good jab, a good lead hook. He will use that against another southpaw. He's shown the ability to do that in the past. Now, Murzakanov is very accurate. He has a lot of accuracy. He's going to hit his target. He's not really he's not overwhelming guys to the point where he hit him on the 5th punch. No, he's hitting him on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd punch, but he's very, very accurate. Mainly with the first 2 punches, you're going to be very accurate, and that's where he strives. Now, Paulo Costa, he's very, very inconsistent. Let's just be honest. He's very inconsistent. He had a beautiful performance his last fight. He slowed down a little bit in round 3, but Murzakanov not a cardio warrior. But I will say, Paulo Costa, when he fought against Kopylov, he was orthodox, and he occupied the lead hand very well, either with kicks or with hand fighting. If you do it with hand fighting against Murzakanov, I think with his speed and his timing and his accuracy, that's dangerous. But with kicks, I have seen like Dustin Jacoby land a lot of kicks on Murzakanov, and he still had power, but he took it to decision. So, and I do think Paulo Costa mixes up more. He had more tools in the toolbox, but I don't think he's a better fighter. I think Murzakanov is a better fighter. Costa not. Costa does have a little. He's got grappling, offensive grappling sometimes. He got nice kicks. He's athletic. But I think Murzakanov accuracy and power gets it done. I don't know if he's gonna knock him out, but we'll see. We'll see which Paulo shows up because he has the ability to be very good against anybody, including ranked fighters. So we'll see what happens. And now for the UFC 327 main event, we got Jiri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. I'm going Jiri Prochazka. Logically, you probably should choose Carlos Ulberg. Technically, you should choose Carlos Ulberg, but it's always something about Jiri. I can't go against him. I had him against Roundtree. I can't go against him. I don't know. Against Poatan, that's a little different. Poatan, he'll set your lights out. Carlos Ulberg, he doesn't like a lot of pressure in his face. He likes controlling the range. He likes being at range and controlling where the fight takes place. And he doesn't really have a big advantage against Prochazka. And Prochazka, he just makes the fight so dirty. And he's willing to get knocked out, and that's dangerous. Carlos Ulberg can knock him out, but I just think if Jiri Prochazka lands something good on him, I think Jiri Prochazka could put out anybody. And if he didn't get knocked out by Khalil Roundtree with all those shots, then Ulberg can do it because they're two different fighters. But Jiri, it's hard picking his fights because other than against Poatan, it's going to be hard picking his fights because he just brings this level of chaos and he strives in the thick of the fight so much that you don't want to pick against him, and you kind of want to just ride the Jiri training until you go against like a higher striker like a Poatan. So Carlos Ulberg does have that ability to be a higher level striker though, so that is worth to note. But I'm going Jiri Prochazka. Should be a good one. Those are my full UFC 327 predictions. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and we're out.